at Memorial Coliseum, and tonight the Chicago Bulls have come to Portland to play the Trailblazers. This is a different Chicago team, Steve. 500, but they're coming in here on the strength of a pretty good win Sunday against Golden State, and they do have Scottie Pippen.
Well, they do have a great individual performer in Scottie Pippen, but this is a team that can struggle against the Golden State Warriors. Their first 16 of 17 go in, and they win by just a point. This is a remarkable talent in Pippen, and he's got to show the rest of the Chicago Bulls what it's like to win, how to be champions. Phil Jackson feels that is still possible because this thing is wide open in his estimation.
Meanwhile, the Blazers got to cutting and slashing the other day, and the results were terrific. They need a big lift from Clyde to get his game back on track tonight.
Well, this is a chance for Clyde to get well. He's playing against Ron Harper, a great player in his own right, but Clyde's numbers have been down over the last 10 games or so. His shooting has been off. Harper has not really felt comfortable as a Chicago Bull. Clyde is due to bust out. Maybe tonight is the night before the All-Star break.
All right, when we come back, we'll talk more. Always interesting when the Bulls are around. The Bulls and the Blazers next. All ready for the Chicago Bulls. Boy, I tell you, that's a game face right there. And if you're going to deny this little guy access to the building and a shot at the Bulls, you're making a big-time mistake. That guy is all business, and hopefully the Blazers are also tonight.
Well, that's important for the Trailblazers to come out and really establish themselves against the team that's struggling, not to work their way into the game. Should they do it, they can have fun. They had fun at the expense of the Chicago Bulls twice last year. They still cannot make up for not having won that championship.
And they beat them pretty good last year. Now let's meet some of the Chicago Bulls. And first of all, we're going to have Marta Monetti singing our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
We are back at the Coliseum. Very nice rendition by Marta Monetti. And now we're going to have a chance to meet those Chicago Bulls, the dreaded Bulls, who aren't quite what they used to be. They came in here tonight at 23-23. A year ago this time, they were 33-13. So don't feel bad, Blazer fans. All right, they're introducing the Bulls. Tony Kukoc at 16-4. Scottie Pippen at 21-4 and an all-star for the fifth time, coming up as starter. Will Perdue, who is 7+ feet tall and about 8 points per game. Ron Harper, a big addition this year, is what they thought he would be. He's turned out to be a lot less. He's averaging 7.5 a game. And the baby-faced assassin, B.J. Armstrong, is with them again tonight. Here's the guy that never gets older. Not him, that's Phil Jackson. He of the coat hanger looks. The head coach of the Chicago Bulls. When he walks, he strolls. That's Jimmy Rogers. Not the guy that's the singer, the ex-coach of the Boston Celtics. You remember him, don't you? Took a little hiatus. Also a coach in Minnesota. And right now, Mike Stone. And he'll build us up to the introduction of the Blazers.
6'8", number 52, Buck Williams. At center, 6'11", number 24, Chris Dudley. Starting at a guard, 6'3", number 1, Rod Strickland. And at guard, 6'7", number 22, Clyde Drexler. The trainer is Jay Jensen. Assistant coaches, Rick Carlisle, Johnny Davis, and Dick Carter. And the head coach of the Portland Trailblazers, P.J. Carlesino. The official for tonight's game.
All right, let's take a look at what Snapper has in his mind as far as keys tonight.
The Chicago Bulls are an interesting team. They're perimeter oriented. That means the Trailblazers should be pressuring the shooters. They run the triple post or triangle offense, and most of the shots will come from the outside. They've got to push on all misses. That means they want to make the Chicago Bulls get back defensively. If they don't, Portland should be shooting layups. And number 3, because they're a perimeter team, Portland needs to rebound the ball. If they do that, they control the Bulls, and they have fun before the All-Star break.
Steve, triple post offense. What does that mean?
Well, what it is having blowout from the audio of the floor, and then reading what the defense is going to give you. It's been the staple of Tex winners for years. As we take a look at Scottie Pippen and Cliff Robinson matchup, a very interesting one. Now, Will Perdue will be losing his mask shortly after the All-Star break, but he has always been a very active player, and around the offensive glass, he may want to keep it on.
All right, so you take a good, strong look at the Pippen-Robinson matchup, and for obvious reasons.
This is a tough matchup for Cliff. Pippen is very, very difficult to handle off the dribble. Be a big test for Cliff in moving his feet.
And the Blazers come away with a tap. Tell you this, that Perdue is a 7-footer, Pippen is 6'7", Kukoc is 6'11", and can play a guard. He is a very versatile guy. But really, when you talk about post players for the Bulls, as Clyde gets off to a good start, he needed that against Ron Harper. There are very few on this team. Pippen predominantly the best post player they have, but he can do things down low, and Kukoc also. Other than that, they just rotate around at the perimeter. They don't get a lot out of their inside game.
There's a nice cut. There's a danger of going to sleep against Will Perdue. He's always cutting to the basket, throw down from Pippen.
So just as we said they don't get a lot, they get one, but that's not going to happen regularly. Is Cliff Robinson on the miss, Perdue on the outlet to B.J. Armstrong. Iowa graduate, been around the Chicago Bulls. Believe it or not, this is 7th year. Doesn't look that old, looks like he's 16. And he's normally a good outside shooter. Well, don't let that fool you. At one time during his college career, he had 11 three-pointers in a game. Rod by Armstrong, Pippen with a rebound. We're tied 2-2.
That's where Pippen is most dangerous. Buck Williams picks up the foul from the rear, but you have got to get to Scottie Pippen because he passes the ball very well. See how much time he has to spot the angle for Ron Harper. Buck Williams, the first person.
Now, Steve, that obviously is not Buck Williams' man. Who was out of position defensively?
Well, in transition, you got to pick up the first person that comes in the area, and you got to defend the basket. Buck was behind him now, so there were 3 people that had already come down and had covered people. The 2 people were open, the cutter and the passer.
4-2, the Bulls. And Rod telegraphs, knocked away by Pippen, who leads the NBA in steals. Keep that in mind. And he leads his team in 6 categories. Drexler, 1 for 2 now on the rebound, loose ball foul call against Portland. Clifford's got 1, Blazers down 2.
What you want to see the Trailblazers and Drexler do is move the ball, move themselves quickly. When Portland gets in trouble, it's because they come down and they begin to go one-on-one early in the ball game and deep out on the perimeter.
See, where you're going to have problems with Chicago also is that they're not as talented as they've been by a long ways, but they're intelligent, and they'll run this offense very well. We've seen that already. Harper's
had trouble finishing shots, and there's another example. As a Bull, he hasn't had the confidence. He's a guy that needs a volume of shots and hasn't gotten it. Perdue at the basket.
And a good pump fake by Will Perdue. The Blazers going to the ball, and suddenly Chicago by 4.
22nd timeout. P.J. Carlesimo not happy with the way that his team has started. The energy that was there for Houston, not here now.
Why? Why is that, Steve, when you consider that this is a team that should be able to go out there and try and give you that kind of energy on a nightly basis, knowing that if they don't, they're not going to be successful? Why is there so much inconsistency?
And they haven't identified the game that they need to play. I think that's part of the problem. If you're going to win, you got to know what the way to win every single night. How to is much easier to talk about than sometimes actually do.
Cellular One again with us tonight, letting you know the important numbers. Rod, Buck, Cliff, Chris Dudley, and Clyde. Blazers scored first. The Chicago Bulls have scored 6 straight since then.
Trying to go down on the post with Cliff, who has an advantage against Pippen.
Chipped by Dudley to keep it alive and out of bounds, and it will come back to Portland. There's Kukoc, everything in Europe. Second year here in Chicago. Caused quite a stir when they signed him to the big contract. Some of the players felt like they should have gotten some of that. And Cliff, nice entry pass for the Blazers. Good ball movement and a foul on Will Perdue.
This is a real good out-of-bounds play because they have Cliff Robinson right at the basket with Scottie Pippen on his hip. Perdue tries to reach in, give some help. Robinson a chance for a 3-point play.
Nothing. Many of the Bulls upset that Chicago didn't re-sign Horace Grant, but he turned down an offer that would have been just as good as what he signed for. He just wanted out. There's Kukoc. Here's a guy who can do a lot of things, Steve. Very talented.
Yeah, he's still feeling his way around the NBA and how things will work for him. Harper gets a 3-point field goal.
9-4 Chicago. I don't understand why Harper, whose game was really one of the nice games in the game, as Clyde is an in-and-outer and Dudley can't get it. There'll be a loose ball foul on Perdue. Has 2. I don't understand why Harper's game has come down so much.
Well, Harper's a volume shooter. He's a freelance open court player. You have seen, as you see the hook, and Will Perdue is saying, look, he hooked me. I just am getting carried in there. Luke Longley in the ball game, and Will Perdue out. The one thing that the Bulls lose when Perdue goes out of the ball game is that offensive rebounding. Luke Longley is not nearly as tenacious on the glass.
Here's Dudley, missed the first jam, gets the second jam. 9-6, Blazers down 3. Chicago has already lost more games at home this year than they have in any of the past 5 years, and so they don't consider their new home, the United Center, any kind of a home court advantage. Blazers looking at a new home next year, and you gotta wonder how that's gonna work. Here's Kukoc. And at the horn, he just unloads before the 24-second violation. And the Blazers get the rebound, and Portland should have a decided rebound advantage on this team, but as Steve said, you have to board here. And Buck, almost a circus shot, fouled on the play.
Luke Longley hit first. Chicago.
Luke Longley came over from the Minnesota Timberwolves. He gets the foul. Here's a guy that they gave up on too soon, Steve, 7'2", 265. Those kind of big people don't come along. And if you recall last year, he did a good job against the Blazers. He had an 18-point per game average in 2 tries.
The problem for Luke Longley right now is conditioning. He has offensive skills. He's a good passer. He has to be prodded along to really challenge himself to be the best that he can be, but the skills are there. The Bulls feel that once he gets in shape, because he was injured with the stress fracture, they're going to really be a much better basketball team.
Buck, one of the 2, has 1 point for the night. Chicago by 2.
Get him up, get him up, get him up.
And the left-hander, Kukoc, at 6'11", missing the jumper. Interesting to see him handle a ball, bringing it up the floor. As I said, he can do what just about everybody on the floor can do. Nice drive by Clyde. And here comes Kukoc. This is we talked about. Watch him. No look. Pippen. His first field goal attempt of the game is good. And Chicago 11-7. He runs the break in the middle like a guard at 6'11". Cliff. Isolated with a loop and lean. Dudley. Steel-toed sneakers again tonight. Buck cleared him out. There's an illegal defense.
Illegal defense.
Coach gives the official that strange look, but he wasn't where he should be in terms of in the area with his man, so the violation, first illegal defense against the Bulls.
Rod Strickland drawing the double. Clyde to Buck. Blazers trying to work away from the ball, and Buck has it poke checked away by Kukoc. Harper. We'll hear from him at halftime, by the way. A little interview with Robin Marks. Here's Pippen blocking a foul. Well, we'll send it away. Blazers down 4, and Betty Foxley from Hood River. How you doing, Betty? Keep the faith, kid. Ah, boy, the hustle, hustle, hustle. And right now, the boards are all even at 6. Chicago, a pretty good active team defensively. They don't give you a lot of points, Steve, because they establish tempo and they control the fact that you're not going to get a lot of shots. You only get 96.5 points a game off this team.
Well, the Chicago Bulls are not nearly as explosive as they were during their championship years, but that guy right there can be explosive in his own right, and Scottie Pippen trying to guide this team back to some sort of competitive position. Tony Kukoc and Pippen, during the first year, they had a rough beginning, but they are definitely comrades in arms now, and they both know that when they're playing well, it's a better basketball team.
Yeah, you know, I have been impressed with Kukoc, the things that he does, but I agree with you. It hasn't come together comfortably yet. The fit is not quite right. Well, you can see flashes of brilliance when he's on the floor doing his things, particularly in the open floor.
He's a great passer, and I think what Phil Jackson wants him to do is be a little bit more aggressive at the offensive end, which then makes his passing ability enhance about 5 or 6 times, because now he's drawing people, open people can get easy shots.
(11-7) here, P.J. Carlesimo, one of the happy folks on the performance on Monday night. Do you use that one as a catalyst for the rest of the year?
Well, I think, yeah, we need to sustain our effort in the Houston game, but I think for us, the problem has been playing well at home every night. If we defend, we're going to be okay. I think the storyline on the game from the players and coaches standpoint is 5 over is the best we've been all. We haven't been 5 over. We need to get 5 over going into the All-Star break.
Well, tonight they could do that. They get themselves a win. They're 24-20 right now. And Pippen at the line, a 71% free throw shooter, makes them both good. He has 4. Jack Neese, Bernie Fryer, and Tony Brothers keeping an eye on this one as the officiating crew tonight. Dudley, and fouled on the play. The big bump.
Now this is where you want to see Chris Dudley, receive the ball and get a chance to do some damage going to the basket. And that time he got a nice bounce pass, one big dribble, now he gets the foul.
Steve, all of a sudden Chicago is going to their 3rd center because Longley just picked up his 2nd foul. So he's out, Purdue is out, both with 2 fouls, and Bill Wennington, who you just saw, who had a run in the Blazers training camp a year ago and played well but was cut loose, has been around Chicago now. This is his 2nd year, and he is the 3rd head of the 3-headed monster that they try and play in the middle. But it ain't Bill Cartwright, and Cartwright wasn't at the end of his career a great player, but he did good things in Chicago's triple post offense. So Dudley with 1 of 2, 13-8 Bulls. BJ against Rod.
Now they're trying to center the ball. They don't get it on that side, so what they'll do is swing it. And before the swing, Chris Dudley cracks Bill Whittington. That's his 2nd personal foul. And very quickly, P.J. Carlesimo has to go to his bench.
And suddenly, from laboring in obscurity to the #1 sub off the bench, here comes Jerome Kersey. How quickly things can turn around if you persevere. Here's Kersey, who really had a big game the last time up.
what Portland's doing right now is giving the Bulls a little early life and letting them control their offensive glass, get some scoring chances. Whittington wide open.
He can hit that shot. He doesn't this time. And Cliff holds up smartly because a hand was up in the passing lane and it would have gone nowhere. Look at Rod Strickland. Oh, goodness. Squeeze that pastry band, Rod. Give me some of that hot stuff up on top. 13-10, Pippen. Talk about a guy that's got a variety of moves. Scottie Pippen has got an arsenal full. Strickland, touch pass, Kersey. Down to Buck, jump hook. Almost broke the iron, and Buck got hit on the face, and down hard goes Harper.
Harper is down, face down. The Bulls don't know it as Pippen is playing 4-on-5 right now.
Kept live by Kukoc. Can't get a handle.
Harper's up.
Clyde. Jerome loves that little jumper, doesn't he? Man. And it'll come off the hand of Rod Strickland, they say, and so it'll come back to Chicago, who leads by 3. Mentioned Jerome's game the last time out. There he is. Kersey, 16 points, 14 rebounds. Nice effort by Jerome, and that's why he's got more playing time. Whittington defended by Buck. So Pippen, driving Broadway, has 6. Whittington's not an easy one to defend either. Buck Williams at 6'8", going against Whittington, who's 7 feet.
Well, Whittington is a face-to-basket player. He doesn't go down and post, so all of his shots, he likes to look at the basket. He's much easier to handle. What you want to try to do is make sure you don't turn him loose on the offensive glass and let him put it back in.
Rod with a turnover. As often as he handles the ball, you can expect some of that. And it happens on an average of about 3.5 times a game. 15-10, Chicago by 5. Well, here's a guy that can break you down off the dribble. Pippen. And you see how they flash cut from the opposite side. Harper, way over the top. Corey Blount is in the game now for Chicago. He's number 44, just came on.
Drexler had everything going, but left the ball. Pippen the same way. He's able to control it for the Chicago Bulls.
Armstrong at Buck, by Buck, good! And a trip to the line. And they lead by 7.
Buck Williams, the foul, his second personal, 15 foul penalty.
Clyde knew that if he could get to the middle, he was in free. Armstrong just ticked it and knocked it away. Harper scoots it out, and the same thing happens against Pippen, but he's able to control the ball, keep it away from Strickland. And once they get in a 2-on-1 situation, B.J. Armstrong is thinking to get the ball to the basket, his first hoop, and a 3-point play.
And don't put him at the line, Steve. He's an 88%er. They lead it big time, 18-10, and Jerome to the basket gets Chicago their 5th team foul. So both teams are over the limit with 3:49 to play in the quarter, and the Blazers down 8.
In the lineup for Buck Williams.
So Buck Williams goes down as Jerome Kersey is fouled on the play.
Pippen gets the foul.
Both teams in penalty situation, 3:49 to go in the first quarter of play, but this game has been played at Chicago Bulls pace for the first 9 minutes.
There are the numbers we alluded to a moment ago. Jerome with a season high in rebounds, 16 points to go with it. A very active game in 29 minutes, and he gets more time, and Mark Bryant slides a little further toward the end of the bench. Both free throws are good.
Pressure by Portland.
Looking for some energy with Harvey in there now. Corey Blount, second-year guy, University of Cincinnati, former #1 pick. See, that's where they'll hurt you right there because they have some deep shooters. And B.J. Armstrong, who just unloaded out there, is one of the better ones.
You don't want to give the Bulls, which is a perimeter-oriented team, open looks at the basket.
Harvey Grant, not stroking it yet, and the Bulls with a 9-point lead. Pretty smart move right there on the attempt out of the corner by B.J.
Well, B.J. Armstrong gets the drive and scores, then comes back, gets a 3-point field goal. pump fake as Rod Strickland is diving in the air and he's stuck and BJ just throws it up. Now he has 3 free throws. Oh, they only give him 2.
Two. Steve, this is not unlike what Chicago is capable of doing. The other night, or Sunday, against Golden State, they had a 22-point lead in the first quarter and made 16 of their first 17 field goal attempts in that game, and then almost lost it after the Warriors tied it at 85 all.
Now they have 2 of the top 5 all-time percentage three-point shooters in Steve Kerr and B.J. Armstrong on their roster. Armstrong, who hadn't scored, now has 8 in the quarter.
And getting a little full-court pressure from Chicago. The Blazers break the heat, almost. Pippen all over the place. Remember, he's number 1 in the NBA in steals. 23-12. Cliff deep in the land of the Giants and then hammered to the floor.
Now, Phil Jackson has had his eyes on the official the entire game, takes a long walk up. Corey Blount looks like he picked up the foul.
Take the Coliseum show. You might be on to the next Magic Bus.
23-12, Chicago. Good start, the Bulls. 41% from the floor, and the Blazers only 25%. And a nifty little 11-2 run in a little over 2 minutes. And right now, Chicago with a rebound advantage of 1.
Now, that 5-to-1 assist stat tells you that the Blazers are not shooting the ball very well. They stopped the clock with the pass inside to Cliff Robinson. So they got 250 to try to reestablish some energy and get things going in their favor at home against the visiting Chicago Bulls, who would like nothing better than to take Portland down and go to the break thinking, you know, we've solved some of our problems. We know how to win on the road. This would be a very successful road trip for the Bulls.
Now Cliff gets it cut down to 9 at 23-14. He has 4. And Chicago, nice start for them here. 5th game in 6 road games for Chicago. Before they finally get back home sometime later next week. Pippen, beautiful pass. Missed by Corey Blount. What a pass by Pippen. Kersey still in the wing on the brakes. That tapped on the jaw, but he's all right. 23-16.
The Trailblazers saw plenty of that against the Houston Rockets, and that's what they really need to try to focus on, establishing against the Bulls the break.
2-man game. Harper against Clyde.
Those are the kinds of shots that Ron Harper tosses up. But when he was a Los Angeles Clipper, he could go through a patch of bad shots and then suddenly get hot and explode for 15, 18 points in a quarter. He's not able to do that here. That's why his numbers are down.
An undistinguished start for Clyde Drexler. Made his first, and now it's 1 for 4 from the floor. He goes stretches where you don't even know he's on the floor sometimes. Here's Rod trying to find Harvey, or that's Jerome. Nice over. Jump hook Kersey. 6 points Kersey, and again a nice lift off the bench for the Blazers by Jerome. Poke checked away from the second-year kid Corey Blount. 6 straight points for Portland. Blount incidentally is 6'10". And now the bumping foul by Harvey Grant. Now the Bulls, of course, when they look around and see Harvey, have got to think, my goodness, is Horace here? They're twins, as you know.
Harvey's hot. And he's saying that Pippen knocked his hand down. Well, I think the Bulls know the difference between the brothers. One's heavier. One wears goggles.
One can rebound. And play some D. Harvey's not a bad defensive player.
You see the hand right there. Now that's the hand check. You're not supposed to be able to knock the hand off, but you're not supposed to have the hand on. The new rule said that's supposed to be a bent arm.
Harvey was giving it a little deja vu and thought he was going to get away with it. 25-18. Scottie Pippen, with both free throws, has 8. Oh, nice recovery by Clyde. They got a piece of the ball, and his strength allowed him to carry through with a shot, and he made 2. A lot of guys can't do that. 25-20 now, Chicago.
This is the patience of the Bulls. They will try to stay within the offense to make something happen. Pippen got 10 and a quarter.
Little turn, show, and then tell. Nice fake by Pippen. Back screen, Clyde. Rod lost the hand. Finds Clyde for a tray attempt. And Pippen with another rebound. Harper to the trailing Pippen.
12 in the quarter for Pippen as they push and they run the Trailblazers and get their advantage to 9.
Pippen's been in double figures in rebounds the last 5. 11, 13, 11, 11, 11. And in the last 4, he's had 34, 22, 28, and 35 points. He's been hot. Final seconds of the quarter. Good. Foul. Kersey with 8, chance for 9 off the bench. A little life from Jerome, and the Blazers down 7.
You always hurt the defense when you come to the basket. Jerome Kersey starts out high, gets a bounce pass, comes on in, picks up the personal foul. Tony Kukoc is going to get in the game very quickly. And Dickie Simpkins sits down.
He wasn't in long. And Kukoc, the Croatian, will come back in, as Steve mentioned. He's got the ability to make that length of the floor pass or do something cute with only 1.8 seconds remaining in the game. Jerome on a 3-pointer to cut the lead to 6. Clock starts as soon as it... stolen by Harvey, gets a shot. Good! Harvey Grant on a steal. So the Kukoc substitution backfired. And they're an inbound, and the Blazers get a pair and trail by 4 at the quarter. Well, here's a fellow that's done some nice things tonight again.
Big quarter for Jerome Kersey to come off the bench, give the team a shot in the arm. They were struggling offensively. Jerome, being Jerome, made some things happen, and he's Portland's leading scorer in the first quarter. The Bulls, their main man, Scottie Pippen, showing his versatility, is the only player in double figures.
All right, they'll start with Pippen, Corey Blount. He's 6'10", remember. Steve Kerr, who is a very fine outside shooter, 6'3", kid from Arizona, who is the all-time leader in three-point shooting percentage in NBA history. And he is out there with Tony Kukoc and Dickie Simpkins, their #1 draft pick this year from Providence, who's also 6'10". So they're 6'10", 6'10", 6'7", 6'11", 6'3". Blazers with Rod. Jerome steal. Jerome Kersey away from Simpkins. Cliff James Robinson's out there, and Javi Grant. There's your 3. Didn't have to call it. He'll take it, and the Blazers within 1. Off the sweet spot. Simpkins watching as Kerr spots up.
Give Steve Kerr a screen, and that's when he's at his best, because that gives him the separation and the time he needs to get the shot away. James Robinson.
With them long arms. He's only 6'1", but he's got some long arms on him. And he reaches all the way around and under for his 5th point.
They got a bad situation for James Robinson. Somehow he was the first man back and ended up behind Corey Blount. Picks up the personal foul trying to defend against the post. They've got to get him out of the post area and keep him out of there as much as they possibly can.
Oh, the baby-faced assassin comes back, B.J. Armstrong, and James Robinson will have to defend him and his outside shot. Rod will have Kerr. Yeah, deadly those two from deep downtown. Pippen's not bad either. Pippen with 14. And Scottie Pippen showing why he is an all-star as Kerr bumps Rod Strickland on the way through. Now, Steve Kerr cannot stay with Rod Strickland. He can shoot, but I guarantee you he cannot defend Rod Strickland.
Shooting 2 for Portland.
With that statement in mind, watch to see if Rod Strickland becomes more aggressive at the offensive end. Because if you know it, Eddie, Rod Strickland definitely has to know it.
Are you trying to tell me that because I know it, it's got to be known by the world?
Well,
Do I know anything about this game?
I'm going to let you work your way out of that hole you just got yourself in.
27 years in this thing. I got to know something, otherwise I'm plain stupid. 33-32. Don't laugh like that, Jones. Blazers within one. Cliff out in the middle on the fly. Harvey on the left wing to James. No foul call. Out ahead to Armstrong. And some unhappy folks on the baseline to your right. We saw that close up. Thought there might have been a foul, and the Bulls by 3. Rod's going to take it right back in there. Jerome's going to tip it in. Where he has to be, inside in the land of the Giants.
James Robinson looking in the direction of the officials, telling him, look, I got hit, and the officials tell him not to. You showed the ball, they knocked it out of your hands.
Pippen and Harvey Grant having a lot of conversation. Let's see if he tries to break him down. I'm just going to shoot it. And Cliff on the loose ball to Rod. Come on, let's see if the Blazers can blow this team out like they did at Houston the other night. James Robinson. Take 3, take 4. Round third, don't trip on the way home. Lance, nice to have you. 37-35. Blazer lead a 2. Kukoc. Kerr was not quite squared up when he got the shot. Who got a loose ball foul?
Oh, they make a mistake. They call Cliff Robinson for over the top. That ball was up for grab, and they had 2 Trailblazers over the top of Scottie Pippen. Should be no call.
Timeout.
Rebound comes off deep, and you can see clearly had 2 hands on the ball, and the whistle goes against Cliff.
Tonight's PG Blazer apparel item is the black sweatshirt.
Well, what do you think, Steve? I'd like to see you come up with a sign. See how creative you are. These people, they'd make an effort out of it. I want to see Steve come up with a sign sometime. Here's Jerome. Now there's a guy who is getting a chance to show what he can do, and I got to give this one to you, Jones. You said that Kersey could still play. A lot of people didn't think so. I got to give you that one.
Well, I've told you that before, but you still doubt my word. I mean, I think
I didn't doubt it.
If you take Jerome Kersey and let Jerome Kersey do what he can do, he can always help a team, because there's one thing that he has, a relentless competitive spirit. I mean, this is a guy that just doesn't quit, and it's hard to find that. Even when he's playing poorly at the offensive end, he makes things happen.
Energy. Here's another energy guy. And if you realize right now that the Blazers bench is 23-2 is what they've contributed to this game. 23-2 over the Bulls bench.
2 guys, Kersey and James Robinson, big shots in the arms for the Trailblazers offensively. Defensively, Portland doing a better job right now.
Ooh, high off the sweet spot. Will Purdue. Someone bumped his horn there, and he's got to wear that plexiglass or whatever it is. The kid from Vanderbilt, who looks like an oversized Gomer Pyle.
Here's a guy that made the shot at the end of the quarter that you'd like to see really get on track offensively. Harvey Grant just hasn't been able to find his rhythm yet. 4 on the shot clock.
And Purdue will outlet to Kerr. Blazers up by 2. Been down by 11. I think that was the biggest lead, right? 11? And Armstrong with the missed shot.
But that was under pressure. James Robinson with a hand in the face. Kersey on the fly.
Foul on the way in.
DJ Armstrong is first.
Yeah, we're going to see Clyde Drexler pretty soon.
Good aggressive play by the Trailblazers as they push the ball ahead and force the defender to try to make a play, and Armstrong wasn't able to strip Kersey of the ball.
Jerome, a very active round so far.
Drexler returns for Portland for Rod Strickland.
By the way, let's make that stretch run a lot of fun. We got 10 games, And it'll cost you $100 to join us. And we have a deadline. That's midnight Wednesday the 22nd, 1-800-595-DUNK. So join us for the Blazer Cable Stretch Run. Okay, Simpkins and Armstrong are out. And they've got Myers in the game along with Kerr, the big guy. That is Big Will Purdue and Scottie Pippen and Tony Kukoc back in for them.
Jackson has had a shuttle going, looking for the combination that's going to be consistent out there on the floor, not only doing a good job offensively, but defensively as well.
Wipe out the two, and an illegal defense supersedes the shot, so Kerr got two taken away. And it was a good illegal call against the Blazers because it was merely a warning, the technical effect in the next illegal defensive call against Portland. 40-37, Trailblazer lead 3. 7:12 to play here in the first half.
Screen across, this is where Purdue gets free, and they get a nice score out of it. So out of the post, they get a screen up, and Purdue cuts to the basket. That's 8 in the ball game for Will Purdue.
Giving him a nice effort here tonight. Harvey Grant, terrific entry pass from the top. Jerome Kersey, a nice entry on the back cut. 42-39, Trailblazers. Blazers with their third team foul, Jerome with his first. Cliff Robinson will come back in, and it appears, what is he doing here? He's got to get back on a plane pretty quick, doesn't he? What time does court start tomorrow?
He never misses a show, so he'll be back there in time at 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock. Just give him an hour or so to trim that beard. Back to Scottie. Purdue couldn't get a handle. Here's James. Got real good stop and go action, and he has to pull it out. Clifford. Pippen with a bunch of rebounds in the game so far. Pete Myers off the bench. Here was the guy that was the man that they had chosen to replace Michael Jordan. Well, that's a tough act to follow. And he didn't do a bad job, but they cut him loose, and he came back, re-signed him this year. He's a pretty good defender, too.
He's done a decent job as they get Steve Kerr on the foul, but they were trying to post James Robinson. Second personal foul against Steve Kerr, third team. Inbound on the side. Kerr trying to draw the foul by flopping. Didn't get it.
James to Harvey. Clear out of side. 6'10 on 6'7. Ooh, big duds. He wanted to unload. He gets called for the travel.
Travel, took a big hop before he put the ball down.
Duds took a little hit the other night in the pocketbook. I don't think it'll affect him any when he got thrown out of the game in the scuffle between he and Otis Thorpe. (42-41), Trailblazers. A lead of 1. Purdue and Kukoc on the clear out. What a nice isolation the way they set that up, Steve. And Purdue popping out and then hitting the back cutter who was isolated on the weak side.
Chicago, when they're playing well, they make good decisions with the basketball. They always try to have a cutter cutting to the hoop, and they hurt you defensively by having that pressure on the basket all the time. James Robinson picks up his second personal foul, fourth team.
You see this fella getting better and better in this league?
Kukoc is going to get better. He's much more competitive. He's still kind of a freelance player, and that's what gets Phil Jackson a little ornery and anxious with him, but he's extremely talented, and I think he wants to be a big-time talent in the NBA.
Their lead is 1. We have 5:10 to play in the half. Oh, beautiful pass by James Robinson. He had to skip it inside on a bounce, and he had to keep it low. And so, 6 points now for Cliff. 44-43, yo-yo time. Blocked by Dudley. Dug out by Clyde. James ahead with Harvey trailing on the right. Ooh! Soar to the rack and lay it home. 46-43, Portland. Block Kerr on the reload. Pippen.
Pippen was able to get away with one. Looked like he carried the ball and it just popped up. Kerr aired it out. You're going to push Cliff Robinson.
Clifford Robinson.
Clifford has 2. Trailblazers over the limit. It's hard to believe Chicago has come back as far as they have. This is a team that has won a lot of games in the last 5 years, 6 years. But they're down at 23-23, and Kukoc with his first good. Corey Blount will come into the game for them.
If you say Phil Jackson, one you say winner of the Central Division, never losing less than 50, never losing more than, let's say, 27 games in any season. He's had a terrific run. All of those years he's won 50 or more.
And had great talent to do it, but you have to give him a lot of credit because he came in, he accepted the triple post offensive Tex winner, worked with it, and has melded a pretty nice team. And even though they're struggling with not a lot of great talent, they're still 500. Blazer lead 1, make it 3. The Knicks come back tonight after losing 1 to Milwaukee last night and beat Indiana.
Hammered Indiana. You know, and that's 2 times in a row where they've beaten them decisively. And so whatever went down in the Eastern Conference Finals, they're saying that that wasn't the truth, the whole truth.
That was on the road too, Steve, so that's a nice win for the New York Knicks.
Of course, Indiana's going to say, well, they're hurting without Dale Davis.
James just poured home a little maple syrup. I mean, that was pure. He has 13 points in the game. 3 3-pointers, 3 for 3 so far outside the home run line.
It was late, but Drexler definitely got a piece of him. You got to make Pete Myers prove to you that he can consistently bury that medium-range jump shot. Drexler came out, he got away, and then came back into him. That's the guy you want to see shooting the basketball. He's not a great shooter, so let him prove to you that it's going to be his night. 34% from the field.
B.J. Armstrong returning.
You saw Rod Strickland checking back in the Trailblazer lineup. Harvey going up. B.J. Armstrong replaces Tony Kukoc. And this is Pete Myers, who played his college ball at Arkansas Little Rock.
It's been a shuttle. I mean, both of the versatile players are out of the ball game right now. Kukoc and Pippen. Pippen playing most of the first half. Kukoc has been in and out. They pressure.
Oh, they got Rod trapped. Splits the D. Little give and go from Clyde. Dudley. The big guy. Whoa. 53-49. Portland. Dudley with 5.
Dudley doing what he can do best, which is rebound the ball, and then he got a chance to put it back up.
Blazers now 10 for 15 in the quarter. That's 67% according to Baby Stats.
Myers trying to squeeze through. The crowd wanted that ball back for the Trailblazers. It looked like Myers just threw it out of bounds. The official said it went off of a Trailblazer.
They had the right side clear out and the brush screen by Purdue to free Kerr. And a third personal foul now, James Robinson. Timeout, 53-49, Portland.
All right, we'll take a look at what happens for the triple post as we go over here and you see the Bulls screen here. And this is at the point of attack, so they want to create some pressure here. And keep your eye on the weak side as the ball works its way through. And we let it go. Portland pressures, and then Will Purdue. Now stop it right there. Now see, this is what they train these guys to do. Read. All right, where is Tony Kukoc right at the basket? As we let it go one more time, you'll see an easy conversion for the Chicago Bulls.
Doing that pretty well there, Snaps. Pretty good.
Well, I haven't been doing it for 27 years. I'm getting a little long in the tooth myself. So.
Well, you have a couple semesters to go to catch up. 53-50, Kerr. This kid's a good shooter, as we've mentioned. Steve Kerr at the line. Surprisingly not as good as he would. Well, we have a foul here.
Steve Kerr.
Jerome Kersey has a foul.
Jerome Kersey.
Now Steve Kerr. Jerome is saying, look, I can't foul all the time. I was down at the other end of the floor. And Kerr's saying, what did I do? The official, this one, says you put your hand on him.
By the way, Tony Brothers, who made the call, was having quite a dialogue with some of the fans along the side here. And I know the other two officials, Jack Neese and Bernie Fryer, were trying to get his attention to get him away from there. Don't get concerned with those people. And Clyde with a no-look touch pass to Jerome, who had already left to go to the basket. And the ball thrown out of bounds. Ball was headed in the wrong direction.
Well, they had it in the right person's hand. They want to center the ball, find Clyde, let him make a play. He thought Jerome Kersey would stay out there, and he just threw it out of bounds.
53-51, 2:29 to play in the half. Myers, open, Armstrong. And the Blazers with a rebound that gets them even, or actually one more than the Bulls at 17-16 on the board battle. Jerome Kersey again taking his game inside. 14 points for Jerome. 55-51, Trailblazers.
2 minutes and a half.
Kersey defending Pippen on the block on the left side. Purdue, Myers, look for Purdue on the give and go, stolen by Rock. Chased by Armstrong. Easy. It's like laying a muffin in the basket. Beautiful.
Good pressure on the ball. It forces a mistake, and it turns into a transition hoop for Rod Strickland.
57-51.
Now, with a guy like Armstrong, who's not a penetrator, you want to try to make him work a lot harder. Trailblazers missed a chance to rebound there. They all looked at each other, and it ended up back in the hands of the Bulls. Armstrong wide open.
Purdue did a nice job of running that offense that time and making sure that once he dished it off, he screened the defenders away from going to Armstrong. 57-51. Trailblazer lead 6. Down to a minute to play here in the first half.
He opened the wing. Strickland trying to draw the foul. Thought he got hammered pretty good, but there's no whistle. Portland gets it back.
Buck save with a rebound. Let's see what Jerome does. Rod lost it. Dudley. Buck Williams. Big boards by Portland. Oh my, the big guy again. What's gotten into this guy, Dudley? 51. Trailblazers lead by 8 in a 20-second timeout. Oh, he must have made a long-distance phone call to Swen Nader.
What the Trailblazers did, and Rod Strickland is saying he got hit there the first time on the drive by Scottie Pippen. Can't believe that there's no whistle. Came back and looked at the official, Tony Brothers, and said, Tony, I didn't get hit on either one of those. The bench has gotten Portland back in the ball game, and on top, the Bulls bench is not giving them the lift that they'd like.
Jerome and James really done a nice job here. Jerome with 14, James with 13, Harvey with 4, and the bench now combined shooting 12 of 15 from the floor. Outscoring the Bulls 31-10 from the Pine.
Drexler gets a piece of that quick shot from Pete Myers in the corner.
Blazer lead 8. Like to stretch it before they take a break. Halftime tonight we'll hear from Ron Harper, who we've not seen play here in the second quarter.
Portland holding for what should be their final shot of the first half. Jerome Kersey weaving his way in. They call it a travel, but he got tripped on the way in. He almost turned his ankle. He had no choice but to take another step because he was off balance. So Portland gets nothing. Looked like they had a pretty good play going. Now right here as he turns, he steps on the foot of Will Purdue and has to get off of it.
Pippen on Jerome. Jerome holds his ground. They're coming our way. And they'll give the ball to Portland. And Rod says, hey, I got fouled.
All right, Strickland right here fighting him for the ball. Now he finally gets to it, and he gets knocked out of bounds by the shoulder, and Strickland's still trying to figure out when is he going to get a whistle.
Offensive rebounding is even, but the Trailblazers have an edge on the boards and on second chance points, which is what they do so well. They've outscored Chicago 13-4.
This is a catch and shoot situation. You don't shoot.
That's over the backboard. To state the
And
obvious.
that's why they don't let big men inbound the ball and try to lob to the basket. That was supposed to be a lob to Chris Dudley. Turned out to be a shot, and it was too strong.
Well, if I'm shooting for a car from half court, remind me not to pick Buck.
Well, no, you get it there.
Get it there.
That's right. That's you
Over
got
the
a
top.
chance, but you got a chance. Now, most people don't get it there.
I think the officials are trying to determine how much time will be on the clock. Right now, they have 0.4 of a second.
Well, it should stay the same.
Yeah, it
it
shouldn't
didn't
move.
touch anybody's hand.
Correct. And PJ saying, "Hey, you don't understand, Bernie. That is my timekeeper. He's working for us." I think it's going to stay right there. And Pippen over here telling Myers what he wants him to do.
This is a catch and shoot.
He did not get it away in time, according to Bernie Fryer. So at the half, Blazers with a comeback. Trail by as many as 11, lead by 8 at the break. All right, here are the numbers, Steve. Cellular One brings us some thoughts with an 8-point lead.
Double-figure guys, Pippen and Armstrong, and Pippen held to just 2 points in that second quarter after a terrific start. 27 points from the bench. Kersey, the leading scorer, followed closely by James Robinson. Pippen, the leading rebounder for Chicago. Dudley, trying to keep his average up for the Trailblazers. The Trailblazers, after a very poor start and really caught fire in the second quarter. You flash to 55, that's not the speed limit. They have really been able to get high percentage shots. Their bench dominated the game, second chance points as well. Portland with an advantage as we go to the second 24.
A little late, but nonetheless, you come to the game, you bring the jammies, and you enjoy the last half before the Sandman comes by and drops a couple of those things on the eyelids. Not bad. Hey, listen, you have a youngster like that, you'd be proud to bring him to the game, too. Hey, by the way, we have received word, and it's an unofficial word, but nonetheless, the word from the Utah-Phoenix game is that Charles Barkley had to be removed from the game over there in the third quarter because of a trauma to the eye. Nothing further to report than that. Blazers, pretty nice shooting in the second quarter. Best quarter at home this year. Milwaukee Bucks win one tonight, second in a row. The big dog with 37 points. They beat Minnesota 193. Orlando 110, Dallas 92, a final. And listen to this one, Steve. Juwan Howard with 31, Payne Weber with 26, and Miami beats Washington 111-107. But those two Michigan guys with some huge numbers tonight.
Now they're getting numbers, but they're not getting wins. That's the sixth straight loss for them. Weber's been back for 3 of them. Smith with a big ball game. Curry, a bigger effort as Detroit really struggles. Hardaway in a romp. And the Indiana Pacers really nailed by Starks and friends. There's your buddy, Bitey, the Minnesota T-Wolves.
A large dog. Woof. And a fearsome bite. All right, they've got B.J. Armstrong and Ron Harper, who is AWOL in the second quarter. Starting at the guard, Kukoc with Scottie Pippen and...
Let's see if the Trailblazers keep up their defensive energy here at the top of the third quarter. Make the Bulls shoot the ball under pressure. They're going to be able to do some big business in transition.
Scottie Pippen with 16. 59-53. Portland.
Now, Portland's got to take advantage of the Cliff Robinson matchup down in the hole against Scottie Pippen. This time they come to Clyde. He overpowers Ron Harper.
So you get the two back, and the Blazers still lead by 8. We're underway in the third. Strickland, Cliff, Buck Williams, Dudley, and Clyde. Kukoc with a miss. And big golly, almost tip one in. There he is. Homer lookalike. Pippen. And that's almost a golly.
Well, Will Perdue, who does a great job of keeping the ball alive and is having his best year as a pro, just active, making things happen. The Bulls get 2.
only played in 43 games a year ago, averaged less than 15 minutes a game and less than 3 points a game.
Now, this is a shot that Cliff ought to be able to get any time. I think Cliff has got to take that shot rather than give Buck the open jump shot. Make Buck be the guy that cuts down the lane.
They'd love to see Buck Williams continue to shoot that ball. That's the guy they want to shoot it. Harper. Pippen waiting for the cutter from the opposite side. Kukoc against Buck. There's that pass to an open BJ. Now if they make some shots, they're in the game.
But when you're a perimeter-oriented team, that's the first shot that breaks down. You need to try to get in that high percentage area as much as you can. Kukoc, who had a better shot, flipped it out to Armstrong, who had more time. Rod Strickland finally gets a call. He gets Harper off his feet. The double clutch.
That Rod got treated the way people used to get treated outside the old Chicago Stadium at about 11 at night. And final look back to the first half. And
what are you going to say about the new Chicago Stadium since it's in the same territory?
more lights, bigger lights. Bigger lights in a bigger building. The owner, Jerry Reinsdorf, walks around at 11 o'clock with a big flashlight in his hand, trying to make it comfortable for people to come to his games. Yeah, bet on that. Here's Purdue. Ooh, drop lead feed for Kukoc, who was a little late getting there.
Shot clock at 3.
Pick and slip. Purdue showing you why they've been patient with him for a lot of years.
You cannot give up on Purdue because he keeps cutting to the basket. And where he's getting most of his shots, right at the rim.
One of the survivors from the great teams, Will Purdue. Big dots, it won't stay for him. And Buck gets hammered. And on the foul, Buck Williams will take a trip to the line.
And you know that Dudley is a guy that needs every hoop. After he missed that shot, he walked up and looked underneath the rim and said, I wonder why that thing didn't go in. Buck Williams picks up the foul, go to the line.
And the foul was on Ron Harper. It was not on Purdue. 63-57. Blazers with the lead. The teams that have ruled the roost, so to speak, in the 90s. And Chicago has been magnificent. Portland not too far behind. But like we've said so many times, the system is such that it's a peaks and valley job. You get to the window, it's wide open, and then it starts to close. And the window has been closing steadily for both these teams. Chicago a little faster than Portland right now. 65-57, the Trailblazers lead.
And Pippen got away with the carry because the ball just rolled off of his back again. Will Purdue staying around the basket. You can't give up on Will Purdue, and that's Dudley's problem. He's trying to get in a help position and ends up getting beat by Purdue, who just moves around without the ball. Third personal foul against Dudley.
Yeah, he is, as I've said, and we've talked about, Purdue's a very smart guy. And he's, you could say he's a junk man, but hey, look, a lot of guys have made good livings in this league just doing the kind of things that Purdue is doing. Keeping active, being smart, seeing the floor, reacting to the ball, reacting to his mates, and he has done a nice job with 13.
Overachieved tonight, according to the average on this road trip. He only was getting 3.5 points a ball game, but a huge effort here tonight for Will Purdue.
14 points, his best game this year, 19, and that's also a career high. Soft as a falling leaf. Like laying an egg in a nest and not cracking it at all. Beautifully done. 67-59. Poetic enough for you?
Only. Only you.
Platters. I remember.
Only you could say it so sweet.
The platters.
Strickland tried to get all the way in, thought he was going to get a foul. Gets nothing again. This has been a tough night for Rod Strickland and the whistle. Pippen turns that one over.
Yes, he did. Good defense by the Trailblazers, getting after the ball a little bit. 67-59, Trailblazers with the lead. Bulls with a win their last game against Golden State. The game prior to that, losing in Phoenix, 110-100. Clyde on the miss. Purdue.
And missed the streaking Ron Harper. If they thrown long, he would have had pressure on Drexler to catch him in the open court. Block.
Buck, dig out Clyde. Wrap around Rock. Goaltending Chicago's Harper. Get out and do it. Nice pass by Clyde.
Good block by Buck Williams, and it kicks right into the hands of Drexler. And again, showing his passing ability, an easy 2 for his running mate Rod Strickland.
Biggest lead, Portland, 10 points, 69-59. Kukoc.
Tony Kaye has not been able to connect on that perimeter shot, and that's hurting the Bulls. But what's hurting the Trailblazers are the second opportunities and cutters to the hoop. 2 players have scored for Chicago in the quarter. They've all been on return play, Pippen and Purdue.
Kukoc has not had a good road trip, but over the year he's over 16 a game. Buck Williams wanting to get in that scoring column. He's got 3, but he wants to get himself another field goal. Armstrong
taking advantage of a mismatch, a little hesitation, and that does not make P.J. Carlesimo happy.
Yeah, the lead is 6:39 to play in the third. Well, again, we'll tell you that Mad Max got hit with a big one today. 10 days at about $22,000 per game. That's $220. And a $20,000 fine on top of it. We're talking $250,000 plus a possible impending lawsuit. Pretty heavy. But again, what he did, probably deserving of that, if in fact everything is as they said. All right, here they come. Chicago have trimmed it to 6. It was 10. Armstrong for 3. Clyde. He's got Cliff ahead. Coast to coast. 71-63 Blazers.
Looking for somebody to pass to the entire way, and nobody stopped him, so he dropped it in the hoop. First rule of defense is get to the ball. Get to the guy that's got it. He's most dangerous at the time.
And he uses the first rule of offense. If you got a chance for the high percentage basket attempt, take it.
Shot clock at 5.
Pippen. Defense making Chicago work. They'll use a lot of clock. That's their style. And now foul call as Rod tries to split the D and come to the rack. And BJ is what they're looking at. 71-63 with Harper in there along with Kukoc, Purdue, Pippen, and Armstrong. And Jerome back in, and Buck goes up. Kersey had a nice run the first half.
Drexler got knocked down, and Kersey pops up.
16 points for Jerome Kersey, who really looks relaxed. Unlike many of the times we saw him last year and earlier this year when he looked like he was trying to make something happen in a hurry to impress. Now I think he understands he's in the rotation and in the flow. Kukoc, who just didn't want it. And a foul call back here.
Pippen reached out and held. 14, but a good foul because the Trailblazers were on a break and had numbers. Kersey popped that ball out there, and it was a decision as to who was going to pick it up. You're saying, no, Dudley, don't handle this, because it was a break. The ball was intended for Drexler.
P.J. Armstrong defending Rod, one of 3 Bulls left from the title team years.
It's screen across. They're trying to post up. Cliff Robinson against Pippen. They can't get him the ball.
Clyde tries to defend, and Harper on the lay-in. 73-65.
First 2 for Harper since a 5-point first quarter, and a pretty quick start for him.
Rod almost loses the handle on it as he brings it up quickly. Nice follow by Dudley.
Now that's where you want Chris Dudley. Coming after any miss and putting it back in. They get a miss handle from Scottie Pippen.
75-65, the Trailblazers with a 10-point lead. 4:15 to play here in the third.
That time Jerome Kersey went too deep. He went into trouble. Right in that 8-foot area, he's got to make that jump shot. Armstrong.
And it seems like whenever the Blazers commit that turnover, Armstrong is back to bury them at the other end. PJ with a total of 14 points in the game. Blazer lead 8. Cliff Robinson. Yes, sir. Rounding second, heading for third. He'll touch them all. A three-pointer for Cliff. Biggest Portland lead. Nice cut from the weak side by Kukoc. And the back screen by the big man Purdue, freeing him to come across the lane and receive the pass.
Well, that's what a good screen will do for a cutter going in the direction of the hoop, particularly if you got a passer. Drexler trying to cash the three. They just won't go in for Clyde. It's been an in and outer from long distance.
And again, Chicago trying to cheat out on the break, but Clyde was back to cover Pippen. PJ, Kukoc, clever with the ball. Good ball movement down to Scottie. And jump hooking over Clyde, and Will Purdue will get it back out on top. Purdue is really having a swell game here tonight. 7 boards and 14 points.
They keep passing the ball. Harper wide open, doesn't cash, but they get it back. A third opportunity, and the three hurts the Trailblazers. Pippen with 7.25.
Pippen is a 31% or a 34% three-point shooter. And the Bulls as a team, like the Blazers, 36% from outside the home run line. 78-72, a 6-point Portland lead. Clyde's entry a little soft, and Harper with the intercept. Up to Pippen, look out. Jerome had it, lost it. Purdue. And foul.
Clyde Drexler.
Hey, you see people trying to handle it inside, you learn to appreciate Karl Malone and his great hands. Not always easy to handle. Blazers by 6 here.
Hustle board and the Chicago Bulls closing in on the Trailblazers, Eddie, in the rebounding area. They're doing a good job of giving themselves second and third opportunities after the misses, and they are closing in on the scoreboard. Portland had an 11-point advantage. It's down to 6, and I'm sure P.J. Carlesimo is telling his guys, these guys are just not going to hand us the game. You got to take it away from them, and Portland has not pushed Chicago to the breaking point psychologically. They allowed them to continue to look up the scoreboard and see they still have life.
Pippen is shooting the ball well from outside this road trip. It's 45% on the 3 shots. And, of course, showing why he is a 5-time All-Star. But that guy right there has done a real nice job for him, Will Purdue. And I guess, Steve, when you look at this team, they've stayed with the triple post offense. They've changed material in terms of personnel. Do they have the right personnel for the triple post here in Chicago?
Well, they believe that the triple post is effective with any personnel, but it's learning it. And I think going along with learning it, you also have to adjust it to the skills of the players. What we're seeing tonight is that when it's working well, these guys pass the ball well. They make good decisions. When it's breaking down, they're struggling in that area.
Scottie Pippen, the Bulls All-Star, and Phil Jackson, his coach, really likes what he's got. What does he think of Scottie? Let's hear it.
This year, he's kind of mellowed into a leader where he's doing it by getting guys to come in, Corey Blunts and the younger kids that he's helping come along by putting an arm around a guy, or maybe sitting on the bench next to him, or maybe making a special pass in the game to get the guy a dunk shot. And I'm very impressed with his leadership. Now, his image. The image is everything, they say, but in Scottie's case, it has been tattered.
Well, obviously, he's a Pippen fan, as so many of you are, I'm sure. He's a really fine player. Blazers with 12 turnovers. The Bulls with 9.
But it's been a loose quarter for the Trailblazers. Every time they look like they're about to apply the hammer, they ease up, and the Chicago Bulls get back in a 4-point ball game.
Phoenix Suns playing without Danny Manning win another one. That's 2 in a row. Dallas last night, Utah tonight, both on the road.
Big win in Utah. And Utah has been a hot team. They're going to get a foul outside. Hand check against Tony Kukoc.
Tony Kukoc.
It's their 5th, Steve.
Illegal defense.
Kukoc reaches out with the hand, and there's the hand check. The rule that they're trying to change. Tony said, look, I just got over. Give me a little bit more time to adjust.
He's like the rest of us Mediterraneans. You're used to talking with your hands. Kavish?
I don't know about you Mediterraneans. That's, you know, I'm kind of lost. The Utah Jazz won 14 in a row, and now they've dropped 3 of their last 4, and this was what Jerry Sloan wanted to see. If this team could take the test of success and then handle a little bit of failure and stay upbeat, but they get the break to correct themselves. A nice cutting play for Ron Harper.
Clyde was there, but Harper received, and it's 6-6. He can still get up a little bit, and a nice, easy laydown, and the lead again, back to 4. Harper with 9. Much better third quarter for Harper. He didn't play at all in the second. Clyde back to an open Cliff. Credit Clyde with a terrific look after he threw the double. And Clifford plumb lines the 3, and he'll go to the line for a 4-point play. But Clyde made it happen the way he drew and then dished.
Well, the last ball game, Drexler got fouled on a 3, had a chance for a 4-point play, couldn't cash, so this could be the first for Cliff Robinson.
Scottie Pippen with his 3rd foul, and he misses the chance for a 4-point play. Clyde Drexler with 6 assists to go along with 12 points and 4 rebounds. 83-76, Portland under a minute in the 3rd.
See, Dudley jumps out, and that's what leaves Purdue open at the basket.
Boy.
Dudley's got to know when he's accomplished his job as a help man. Coach can't finish. Kersey, big rebound.
Kukoc is really shooting the ball poorly. He's 1 for 10 from the floor.
When you're deep outside and it won't go in, that's the time to try to drive it inside and get something cheap.
Cliff looking for Clyde, and then Clyde looking to get inside, stolen back by Rod from Purdue. There's a quick hands guy. There's a kid that grew up in New York. Man, oh man, he's got pickpocket skills. 85-76. Keep your hands in your pockets on the subway when you go to New York. Pick the fillings out of your teeth there. Under 20 seconds to play here in the 3rd.
See, again, Dudley comes out and runs his man, runs around and forces the man away, but that means that you're going to be vulnerable on the glass. Kukoc cleans up. 4 in the quarter, 8 in the game for Tony.
Clyde from Rod for 3 with 0.8 of a second remaining in the quarter. Rod got it to Clyde, and he pancaked one home for a tray, and the Blazers lead by 10 after 3. Now they still say they got 0.8 of a second, but I don't see anything out there. What do we have here? Hold on now, this quarter's not complete. Now they say it's over. They say that they got the clock stuck, and that's going to do it. 88-78 Portland. James Robinson, who didn't play in the 3rd, is in the 4th. Cliff Robinson, by the way, had 10 points in the quarter, now 16 in the game. So Cliff, James, Harvey, Jerome, and Rod are out there for Portland. There's Clifford on Kukoc. There he goes, 12 points, biggest lead. They have BJ, Will Purdue, Ron Harper, Kukoc, and Corey Blount for Chicago.
But you can see in the old days for Ron Harper, that pass out from Will Purdue would have gone out. He stayed within the offense, gave it back. They tried to swing the ball. The Bulls turn it over, but they stay in their offense, and they try to make everything happen within it. And when they're not playing well, it's tough for them to get back in a game.
Trailblazers, 55% for the game. Cliff with a save, Harper with a steal. Kukoc. And Blount fouled by Jerome Kersey, who thought he had him. What a hustle that was.
That is a typical Jerome Kersey play, and has been the hallmark of his career. This is a terrific pass. Blount thinks he's clean. Watch Kersey on the fly, thought he had perfect timing. And there's only one other player that you can consistently remember making those kinds of plays. Who is he?
Dr. J? No. I don't know.
27 years in the business.
I'm reading some numbers.
You know, Michael Cooper.
Oh, okay. Yeah. The Sox got me. 90-79. That was the. Let's see, was that the first missed free throw? Yeah. They're now 21 of 22. They had made. Excuse me, 22 of 23. They had made 21 in a row before that.
Now that's what you want to see Cliff Robinson do when he has a 7-footer out on the wing with him. A little quick move and into the middle, picks up the personal foul. But Will Perdue is not going to be able to deal with Cliff Robinson out on the wing, and that's what you call good, smart, aggressive basketball. You'll hurt the opponent every time that way.
Oh, Charlotte with a win over Detroit, 106-78 tonight.
Joe Dumars had 43 last night. He didn't do it tonight.
After the break, we come back and we have a Blazing Trail special, the Wild One with PJ, Paxson, Holton, and Henson featured. And that's next Wednesday, 5:30, before our game in Phoenix. Wild Rice gets a lot of time on TV, you know that?
He's just trying to catch up with you.
Oh, no. Me, I hide between games. You know, you never even know him around. You just kind of blend in with the pebbles, the rocks on Highway 5. Incidentally, one of those hit my windshield the other day. 92-79, Trailblazer lead. Broken windshield. Kerr, bango. Now, James, you haven't seen a guy shoot the shot like he can from out there, boy. You got to stay on top of him. And Kerr with 8. And here's Harper, who in his day was pretty good at stealing it. And the follow here by Judd Bushler, who just came in the game for the first time. The kid from the University of Arizona, who last year was with Golden State. And he'll hustle. He's not pretty, but boy, he gets it done, believe me. And foul by Harper's Rod Strickland. Blazers now a 9-point leader with 10:07, and they have no reason here to think they got this thing locked up.
Good aggressive push by Rod Strickland. Harper coming over the top. Thought he got all the ball, got a piece of Rod Strickland. That's a 4th personal foul against Harper, but the Trailblazers have to put this team away here at the top of the quarter. They have every chance to do so because this unit out on the floor needs help. They're best all-around players. Kukoc, he's struggling. You've got Myers, Kerr, Bushler, and Blount. All these guys have to stay within the offense in order to get it done, and that's going to be a tough chore for them.
But at the other end, they'll scramble to try and make things happen. They're like scrambled eggs. Harry Carey type guys, just all over the place. Kerr trying to back cut Kukoc. Wasn't ready to give it to him when Kukoc was ready to make his turn. Give and go, Kukoc trying to go to Myers, knocked away and off of Myers, and the Blazers will get possession, leading it by 11.
Cliff Robinson with the tap off of the leg of Pete Myers. Myers is saying he got held on top.
Rod, Jerome. Jerome getting a lot of minutes. There he is. Not quite, out of bounds. It'll come back to Portland. Corey Blount, 6'10", Bushler is 6'7", Myers is 6'6", 6'7", Kerr 6'3", Kukoc 6'11". That's what Chicago's got. Rod and James at the guards, Jerome, Cliff, and Harden. Kersey on Kukoc.
Kersey's thinking about trying to drive the ball. Ball popped free.
Chip by Jerome on the miss by Rod. Harvey Grant stays with it. 96-83. And this crowd that we could shoehorn into an operating room because they're that quiet, trying to come to life a little bit. And the shove on Harv.
What does that call tell you about Tony Brothers number 56? He's going to call hand check. If you put your hands on him, he's going to blow the whistle. So as a player, you got to make an adjustment. You have to be able to read the officials and the calls that they're making, their pet calls for any given game.
Kerr and Bushler in there for Chicago, played together at Arizona. There's Judd, good fake. Nice move by Judd Bushler.
Spacing is everything for them in their offense, and they read it correctly, get the ball to Bushler in the center of the court, and the defense is late in reacting. Cliff Robinson trying to bail out, picks up the foul, that's his fourth.
Blount comes out for Chicago. Steve, we haven't mentioned Cedric Ceballos and his injured thumb requiring surgery, ligament damage. He's going to be out 8 weeks for the Lakers.
That certainly is going to hurt the Lakers. They got a big win the last time out without him, but they were playing the Denver Nuggets. They're playing San Antonio tonight. Kersey steal.
Nice effort by Jerome again, and capped it off a Kerr, so the Blazers will get it. Well, that's a big loss, so you kind of look for maybe Phoenix to try and add someone if they can. Sampson's been working out down in Phoenix. Maybe the Lakers trying to pick somebody up to shore up because Ceballos is going to be gone. Could be some interesting things happening before the trade deadline on the 23rd. Harvey Grant, he didn't think it was going to get there, but it did. And Harvey gives the Blazers a 13-point lead. Malone and Stockton combined for 51 in that Phoenix game tonight. They lose.
Whoa. Now, see, there's a mistake.
Yeah, big time. Keep it.
They get a hoop out of it, but Tony Kukoc is right at the rim, and he kicks the ball out. You got to score that ball, and that's where Phil Jackson wants to see him improve.
Strickland comes right back on Kerr and gets it. Kukoc with 10 assists in the game, and Strickland now with 16 points.
Portland's got several players in double figures, so they've had balance, but they still allow the Chicago Bulls to stay in that danger zone where they got a chance to get in the game. Kersey
coming to the rack. Boy, I like the energy that Jerome has brought, and it's starting to become infectious because Harvey's playing that way. James Robinson gives that to you.
Robinson thought about the trade. He hasn't missed a shot tonight. Decided to give it to the driving Kersey. Pete Myers is whistled for the foul.
100-87 is the score of our game. Portland with a 13-point lead. And Jerome at the foul line. Kersey coming into this game was a good free throw shooter, 89%, but he misses that one. And now the big guy's coming back. Steve, see this? Trading cards? Are you in there? No, this is not old timers. This is the current crowd. Ooh, the Blade. There's a guy from Australia, Luke Longley. Jack McCloskey traded he and Felton Spencer away. A couple of 7-footers. Boy, they don't come along that often. They can play real well. These kids, they'll rue the day those deals were made in Minnesota.
Illegal D. Jerome Kersey dropped down, so it's a technical. The shooter, Steve Kerr, and if we'll give you a look at Joel. I can't find the end of my telestrator. Otherwise, I'd point it out for you. Here it is. Just hold on. Don't move, Jerome Kersey. Now, you see this guy right here? He should be guarding somebody, but he's not. He's illegal.
And you got Kerr making the technical. So that puts it at 188. 88% shooting Steve Kerr at the line.
See, it's a 12-point game, 7 minutes to go. Plenty of time for the Bulls to make another run. Portland's got to put the nail in the coffin. Kersey with Harvey Grant goaltending.
And Pippen gets his 23rd point of the game. He's averaging just a little under 22 a night.
Timeout, Portland.
Help defense, but it's too late. The long arm of Grant doesn't arrive in time.
Blazers by 10.
The Blade.
Where are they? This is what they had. They won 3 titles with this group. Michael Jordan, Horace Grant, we know where he is. Sob a few tears. John Paxson, he's a radio guy. Cartwright's in Seattle, and Scott Williams is with Philadelphia, and Stacey King is in Minnesota. That's a pretty nice group.
When you add all that up, though, what's missing is their ability to score the ball. They were an explosive team. Portland ahead by 10. Drexler comes back in to give Rod Strickland a quick breather, and Buck Williams finally diving to the lane gets fouled on the way in.
So the foul goes on Judd Bushler. They are at 14 fouls. On the home run shots tonight, Blazers nice, 55%. That's going to increase that average. And of course, James Robinson really doing a nice job. James is 5 for 5 from the floor overall. And he's 3 for 3 outside the home run line. Buck Williams.
So how's your math on 5 for 5?
Not quite. I think it's close to perfect. 12-point lead. 6.5 to play. Big
Luke Longley, who has some size but showed the ball too early that time. Buck Williams just knocked it away. Hurrying the other way. Kersey.
Jerome. That's where I love to see him. Down deep.
Now there are many Jerome Kersey fans around the state and in the metropolitan area that are just jumping for joy every time they see Jerome make a play. Pippen trying to keep him close, gets a 3. 26
for Pippen. So on the strength of his last 4 games, 34 points, 22, 28, 35, and now 26. You can see he's had a marvelous road
Now
trip.
they post Clyde, and when they do that, Pippen is a rover. Going to give Kersey that shot.
Forget that shot. Get inside. 104.93.
Blade, are you putting on your coach's hat?
I've got the blade out right now. We're trimming. We're trimming a little bit. Slice it, dice it. Here's Bill Walton's protege. And a goaltending call.
Kersey got it.
Longley was a fellow that Walton spent a lot of time working with. And Jerome is the man that is going to be charged with the goaltend.
Longley with a Kevin McHale type move goes up and under, and Kersey gets it. 9-point game.
Longley went to New Mexico after coming from Australia.
Shot clock down to 5. Robinson with the ball. You got to know you got to get it in the air. It's going to be a turnover.
Boy, that is big time deep parking lot stuff. They're going to give the ball to whom?
Portland gets it back, but James Robinson got it up in time.
Well, we're going to see Dudge back in the game with 5:06 to play.
Well, the one thing that PJ Carlissimo is learning is that games can change very quickly in the NBA. Kersey comes out, Williams and James Robinson as well.
Jerome had a season high, 18 points. Buck Williams comes away, didn't give you much in the way of scoring, and 6 rebounds. And James had a hard time handling the ball. Now technical foul on Phil Jackson, coat hanger Jackson.
Bill Jackson looking in the direction of Bernie Fryer, saying, Bernie, you know what I'm talking about.
And so they miss an opportunity to add another point up there, but Phil, that'll cost them. What are they up to? 500 on technical, so 1,000.
500.
500 the first. That costs you 1,000 if you get sent to the locker. Now, wouldn't you pay to see that guy play? That's Rod Strickland. He's got 18. Portland by 11. Rush screen, Big Luke. Trying to behead Clyde, then go weak side is Myers. Pippen throws away, and Dudley has it.
Strickland tipped that out of the hands from the blind side of Pippen. Coming with a 2-man game. They like to call this the 1-3 go.
Bring it, Kurt.
7 1/4, 17 points in the second half for Chris Robinson. He's the leading scorer for the Trailblazers.
3 threes tonight for Clifford. What was a 36% three-point shooter coming in. Myers to Longley. Fakes the back cut to Bushler. Looks back to the weak side. They got all that action coming on away from the ball. And Cliff has 5. That's number 5 for Cliff with 3:58 remaining in the game.
Now the lead has been double digits most of the second half, but really not out of the danger zone. 3:57 to go. The Bulls trying to get one more momentum driving shot. Buechler can't finish the 3, but these second opportunities have really helped the Chicago Bulls. They're not supposed to be a good rebounding team.
The Bulls shooting 45%, but taking a lot of shots tonight. Harvey Grant has 4. No, Steve, it gets into the minutia when you start talking about these kind of numbers, but nonetheless, the Bulls are 9-0 and they've had 2 or more days of rest between games this season, and they have been off since Sunday. Well, the Blazers trying to tack that first loss on them in that scenario.
So when do you decide we're going to get into the minutia as we take a look at a team that has really dominated the 90s in terms of performance?
You have to use a shovel in this minutia. All right, here we go. 3:48 to play here in the game. Clyde got hacked, no foul call. Tony Brothers was there, had the blinders on.
Drexler trying to get a seam. Call an offensive foul against Drexler on the push-off. Third.
B.J. Armstrong returns for Chicago for Pete Myers.
Jackson knows that, his team still has a chance. Brings B.J. Armstrong back in, who's a dangerous three-point shooter.
Kerr splits and leaves. And there's
a steal.
The turnovers haven't helped Chicago. That's their 15th. Rod on an in and out. The Bulls with 10 steals in the game. You mentioned steals. The Blazers with 9. So both teams active with the hands here tonight. Give and go. Buechler to BJ. Clyde switched off on the little guy. Kerr. Nice spot up, and it's an in and outer.
You got to watch Pippen. He's trying to read Drexler and figure out where the ball is going to come. He was going to look for a steal. Cliff.
That's his 4-3, and the hot rims have not helped Chicago's shooting effort here tonight. The ball looks like it's hitting a tight iron, and the Blazers lead 112-96. Well, the Trailblazers 8 for 14 on their three-point shooting tonight. Cliff is 4 for 5. James now 3 for 4, and Clyde 1 for 5. And Cliff Robinson has been hot with those 4 threes. Chicago only 4 of 16. And our Cellular One scoreboard will tell us that the rebounding all even. But the Blazers again doing a number on the offensive boards and creating second and third basket opportunities. Here we go, stretch run, 2:35 to play.
Offensive foul the other way against Pete Myers. But, numbers can be misleading, and it's all knotted up. But they've let a team come in and do a number on the glass against them when Portland rebounding is their business. As Hank Stram would say, they can do a little business on the glass if they get active there. And it's been the Chicago Bulls taking that home.
112-96, Portland. Clyde. Rod trying to fight and does come away with a rebound away from Luke Longley, the 7'2" behemoth. Cliff Robinson. Man, he's got fire flowing from those mittens now. He's got 28 in the game, 22 in the second half. BJ, grilled cheese, trying to take it in deep. We're down to 2:03, and the Blazers are going to go into the All-Star break with a couple of nifty back-to-back efforts. Out of bounds off Chicago.
And after a slow start, they have kind of ground down the Bulls. They kept a double-digit lead for the most part, pushed it to 18 right now as we're at the 2-minute mark, and Jackson knows that this one's over.
Yeah, Phil Jackson, who would like to be at Woodstock tomorrow morning, but he's not going to make it. It's going to Phoenix. 114-96. There's nothing happening at Woodstock this time of year, Phil. Well, go down there and play Let's Pretend. Here's Duds. What do we got here?
Luke Longley. Oh, an offensive foul against Chris Dudley.
Well, Dudley with 5. Blazers racking up some fouls now. Dudley, Cliff, 5. Let's see, they've got Harper on the bench with 4. Clyde's got a few fouls. 3. BJ switched off on by Harvey. And he takes him back out there. And Harvey was trying to figure out whether he was going to try and break him down and beat him off the dribble or do what he did. That's tough when you got a little quick man on you like that. Trying to defend a little quick man. 114-98 Trailblazers. Harvey comes right back and gets 2.
So Harvey joins the parade of Trailblazers in double digits with that. 6 1/4, 10 in a ball game.
Pippen is out for the game. He will probably just sit the rest of it out. No sense in stretching him. He incidentally understands what Clyde's talking about. Pippen is the 5th highest player on the Bull roster. And of course, when he signed his deal, he was the highest, as was the case with Clyde.
Chicago.
Sickness that's catching, I guess. Chicago with a timeout. 116-98. And are they saying a 20? Yes, they are. 22nd time.
This is where I don't understand coaching. You've had a tough time of it all night, with the exception of the first quarter. Your team has been playing from the rear, and suddenly with 48.5 seconds and down a ton, 18, you figure that you're going to come up with some play that you would like to see work later on. Comparison between 2 of the best all-around players in the NBA. Pippen got the better of it tonight, and he has been the story for the success of the Chicago Bulls this season. He's trying to prove that he can get the Chicago Bulls a championship without the aid of Michael Jordan.
That's James hiding under the towel. Pippen, by the way, was the number 2 vote getter in the Eastern Conference. Only Grant Hill, the rookie, the first ever to lead the balloting in total votes, had surpassed him as far as the fans' vote was concerned. And deserving, Scottie Pippen, 5th All-Star, 4th straight year he's a starter. Armstrong.
Luke Longley.
Get up there, Big Luke. 116-100. Under a minute to play. The Blazers will be 5 games over 500 in a matter of seconds. And tonight we never saw Mark Bryant, James Edwards, and Tracy Murray. Keeping it live, Dudley blocked by Corey Blount. Blazers with a 38-36 edge on the boards to this point. Portland shooting 54% for the game.
Well, if P.J. Carlesimo is going to say one thing he's not happy with, it would be the board work of his team tonight. But they've been more than competitive in the other areas. They lead in blocks. They've been active in the passing lanes. They've got 9 steals.
Cliff out there without his headband on. Ooh, somebody ought to tell him.
Well, they're saying the ball game's over. B.J. can't decide whether he wants to foul and get it over with or let Rod Strickland dribble out the clock, but there's really no sense in trying to make a play here. Spoons it out of bounds.
Oh, look at this guy. Very nicely done. That one hurt. He says he's okay. I don't know, though.
Give Myers a 3, and he nails it.
Well, I tell you, what some people won't do to touch a ball, huh? It's all over. The Blazers beat Chicago. They beat them in about a month in the windy one, and we'll have that one for you on Blazer TV. And that ought to be fun. First trip to the United Center, the new home of the Chicago Bulls. But they are a game under 500 at the break. The Blazers are 5 over. Pick your head up, Dick Harder. Things are looking good. 116-103 final score.